Hello YouTube, and welcome back to Brewing with Magic. Well, Crimson Vow came out a few weeks ago, and I guess I'm late to the wedding because we haven't put out a Vampires deck yet. So I slapped together what I thought was an interesting looking, really fast and aggressive Rakdos Vampire decks. And a few things I don't normally do. One, I don't normally start recording immediately when I play a deck when I'm testing it out. I usually put in a few games. I happen to be doing that, so you're going to get to see those. Two, I don't normally do clickbaity things, but I don't normally take a deck out and it goes 4-0 immediately, and I wanted to make sure that as many people saw this deck as possible because I do think that this is a tier 1.5 deck in my opinion. Maybe it could be tier 1 just depending on where the meta ends up being and if there's any fine-tuning need to be done, but I definitely think you needed to see this deck, and it is super fast, super fun, and has tons of synergy. But before we get into today's deck, if you'll do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. It's fast, it's free, and it means the world to me. Also, if you don't mind, by the end of this video, not only commenting, but leaving us a rating. We get 1 point for both, but if you do both of them, instead of 2 points, we get 4, and I don't know 100% how that helps us other than I think more viewers, but I do know that 4 is better than 2. So let's go ahead and get into today's deck. Okay, so like I said, we have Rakdos Vampires for you today, and let's get right into the deck. So first off, we have our removal package, with quotes, because we have 4 copies of Play with Fire, and it can be removal, but it can also go to the face, so keep that in mind. We have 3 copies of Infernal Grasp. We don't mind losing some life. In fact, we're going to lose it with another card in the deck as well, so we have 3 copies, not 4, because I could have gone 4 Infernals and 3 Play with Fires, but as you will see in the gameplay, Play with Fire closes out games really well, especially when it synergizes with, well, I'll just tell you now, with Florian, because he can help you dig for it late game. Really, really nice. And then we have 2 copies of Shatterskull Smashing, which also is doing double duty as land. That gives us 24 lands total in the deck with that. So it's nice. We only have 21 lands with not including the Shatterskull Smashing and the Agadeem's Awakening. So we get into the late game and we're actually going to have cards we can play instead of flooding out. But we don't mind drawing land in this deck, because we also have a bunch of blood tokens. So let's get into our 1-drops. We have 2 Valentine, Dean of the Vein. We're never casting it on the backside, only for the front side. And it just happens to work out really well in the deck. We don't want a whole lot of them. It's not strong enough, especially being a legendary, but 2 of them is perfect. And then we want a few more creatures in the deck at 1-drop slot. We have 4 copies of Falcon Wrath, a Pit Fighter, and then we have 4 copies of Valdaran Epicure, 1 white, for a creature vampire at 1/1. When Valdaran Epicure enters the battlefield, it deals 1 damage to each opponent. Create a blood token. If you don't have anything else to do on turn 1, you don't have any of these creatures, and you don't have a red land with a Play with Fire just to hold up in case your opponent's doing something, you can throw this on turn 1. This is best in my opinion on like turn 3. Say you already have Vampire Socialite out, you go ahead and you hit them by throwing this, and then you could put out another creature, and whether or not you could attack with the Vampire Socialite or not, you're still going to get those benefits. Or on turn 3, you can go ahead and just play the Valdaran Epicure and then throw the Vampire Socialite. And if you had anything still out from turn 1 and 2, they're all going to get bigger. Some very, very neat strategies there. So in our 2-drop slot, we have 4 copies of Valdaran Bloodcaster, 1 black, 1 colorless, for a creature vampire wizard at 2/1 with flying. Whenever a Valdaran Bloodcaster or another non-token creature you control dies, create a blood token. Blood tokens in this deck are just really, really synergistic, and if you're not using them with an ability on a vampire, then you're using them to cycle through your deck by sacrifice or by discarding a card and getting another card. It also has, whenever you create a blood token, if you control 5 or more blood tokens, transform Valdaran Bloodcaster. Now, that never actually happened to me in any of my games. I think the card is plenty fine how it works on its own, but if you do get to flip it, it's just a bonus. It's a 3/3 flyer at the beginning of combat on your turn. Up to 1 target blood token you control becomes a 2/2 black bat creature with flying and haste, in addition to its other types. So just a little bit of a bonus, but keep in mind, don't try too hard to get that to flip. If it flips, and that's great. Otherwise, we're fine with a 2/1 flyer that does everything it's doing. Then we have 4 copies of the new Cemetery Gatekeeper. I had 0 of these, and I had to buy 4 of them. I'm down to 2 mythic rares now, and in my opinion, it's an amazing card. It was worth it. 1 red, 1 colorless for a creature vampire at 2/1 with first strike. That's super huge. When Cemetery Gatekeeper enters the battlefield, exile a card from a graveyard. Whenever a player plays a land or casts a spell, if it shares a card type with the exiled card, Cemetery Gatekeeper deals 2 damage to that player. So if they're a creature heavy deck, grab that. If they're a control deck and they haven't cast any spells, maybe you hold off on it. You kind of want to make sure that you don't throw this if the graveyards are empty. Like I told you on turn 1, maybe you throw this just to get a little pressure out there, especially since if that hits the opponent, and then turn 2 you throw the Vampire Socialite. There's some synergy. In my opinion, you want to save this because the 2 damage that they will be taking is huge in this deck. Then we have 4 copies of Blood Tithe Harvester. It is a 1 red, 1 black creature vampire at 3/2. When it enters the battlefield, you create a blood token. Once again, we want these blood tokens. They're really good for the deck. And then you can tap it, sacrifice the Blood Tithe Harvester. Target creature gets -X until end of turn, where X is twice the number of blood tokens you control. Activate only as a sorcery. Super strong, as you would see in the gameplay. When the creatures get out of control and you're like, I don't know how to handle them, and you can't find an Infernal Grasp, Play with Fire is no longer going to be doing anything to them. You can just get around a lot of stuff with this, especially, like, once again, you'll see in the gameplay, Indestructible just doesn't matter with this. And then one of the highlights of this deck, in my opinion, it just makes you get so big so fast. Vampire Socialite, 4 copies of that. You've seen it before. You know what it does. It's not a new card. And then lastly, as far as our creatures go, we have 3 Florian, a Voldaren, a Scion. And this card is amazing in the current format. I think I was soft on this during the review. Once again, I'll eat my words. It's an amazing card. I wish I could get a 4th one in, but I think 3 is working perfect for a legendary creature. Not only is that first strike super huge, but just being able to look at the top of your library and find what you need when you need it is super big, and it came in clutch a couple of times. Now, keep in mind, it doesn't have to even attack. You can throw it and do it with your other creatures and get a lot of synergy out of it that way. This is an aggro deck, so we're using these removal spells mainly to get in and finish our opponent off with our creatures. Play with Fire can also help go to the face, so make sure you're saving Infernal Grasp for super important stuff, because you only have a few removals in the deck, and play this deck like an aggro deck. Like I said, like you're playing mono white, mono green. You got to keep swinging it in. Even if you're going to lose one of your 2 or 3 creatures that turn, sometimes you just got to keep going in. So I think that's enough about how the deck runs. Don't forget to stick around till the end for the summary, and without further ado, let's go ahead now and get into that gameplay. What do we got? Harry, huh? Let's go, Harry. Harry's first. We have 3 lands, 2 pathways, and a mountain. Blood Tithe Harvester, a Florian, a Falconrith Pit Fighter, and Play with Fire. We're going to keep this. Lead on a mountain. Okay, our opponent is on Gruul. So we're going to lead, like I said, with mountain and get the Falconrith Pit Fighter out there. Falconrith. Here comes a naturalist. So we'll go ahead and throw out the swamp now. I think I'm fine with that trade. Don't know what they're gonna cast this turn. I think I pass holding up Infernal Grasp. I'm not gonna let them attack, that's for sure. So that resolves Infernal Grasp, the Storm Chaser. They're gonna attack for 3. I should have played it last turn. I see that now. We're gonna double spell. Well, maybe not, unless I can use this green. So we put this out on red. Yeah, we put this out, and we shoot our opponent for 2. I didn't want to do that, but got to. Don't need the swamp. And then we go ahead and swing in for 2. Pass it back. Oh, it would have been a lot different turn. I would have thrown Florian that turn. I think that would have been better play had I not messed up on the actual casting there of no spells. Arlene, pack leader's coming out. 2 wolves.
We must stop the nights from engulfing the days.
So this could come out on black. Bummer. Bummer, bummer, bummer. I don't think there's any way in. They're going to want to block everything. Then neither one of our creatures gets in. If they let one in and we can drop both of those, that's interesting. Let's just see what they do. I think I gotta at least try to eliminate some of their creatures. Maybe they'll let one through. Come on, let one through. Nice. Okay, there we go. So we throw the Socialite first. Pumping that. Then we throw the Gatekeeper. We're definitely grabbing a creature from their graveyard. Passing it back. Ranger class gets around us. Okay, if they're smart, they won't throw a creature now. They'll wait and flash it in. Need them to attack. I mean, I have First Strike and Menace, so as long as I attack with these two, and I think we're getting in next turn no matter what. Just how important is it? What does our opponent got? What does Harry got? Okay, they take 2 from that. They can't sacrifice that yet. Play with Fire is probably pretty big. And I can cast both. In case I hit another. Let's throw this first so that I get some action out of it. We're swinging with everything. We're going to their face. Okay, take out a wolf with the pack leader, or the take out our pit fighter with the wolf. You have First Strike, so I'm fine with that. So let's go ahead. That doesn't hurt us. I'm fine with that trade. Hit him for 2. Okay, we'll play the Haunted Ridge. And then we're gonna hold that. Hold that play with fire. Okay, they're plussing their
On my signal,
Arlene,
the hunt
primary
begins.
adversary. They take 2 from the Gatekeeper. They are able to make a token, or a it's going to be tapped. They do get themselves a land, and take our turn. Okay, we're definitely sacrificing the blood token for that mountain. We get a swamp. That's amazing. So they can't block all 3, right? Because this First Strike, and Menace. I think I go in with everything. I think we got to try it. Okay, then take out Florian. Okay, so we lose our Florian, but could have sworn, didn't we? End the turn. They go to Knight. If they throw a creature, we win. So resolves. Pop them. That's all you gotta do. Good game. Henry. Two. Hello, Henry. Okay, Henry's first. We have 3 lands, a Swamp Pathway, and a Slow Land. We have Blood Tithe Harvester, Infernal Grasp, Vampire Socialite, and a Cemetery Gatekeeper. No 1-drops, but it's a good enough hand to keep. That's for sure. If we don't top deck a 1-drop, maybe we go Haunted Ridge for, I don't know. There's no real reason. Oh, there we go. We'll go Swamp and Nadine. opponent is probably playing Izzet. We see a snow-covered island. Henry, show me your red land. Show me what you got. Oh, black. No. Okay. So we'll throw this out on a red. Might as well swing in first so they can kill it. Yep. So if that hits, we go Vampire Socialite. Otherwise, if they killed it, we would have gone Cemetery Gatekeeper. Here probably comes the removal. Or this is either getting removed, or I was going to say it gets a token and then they remove that. Kill the Dean if you want. The Socialite's your problem, my friend. They definitely want to do something here. There it is. Infernal Grass taking 2. Now when I take their Infernal Grass with Cemetery Gatekeeper, that's probably good. Another land. Counterspell time. Nope. Pop it. Okay. We're just going to go ahead and throw out the Ridge. I mean, this has Menace, so I'm not really super afraid of that. But they're going to create instances and sorcery, so I really just can't have that. Let's go ahead and... I'd like to combo with this, but, I mean, we got to keep the board moving forward. We do... There we go. We do hit him for a point, I mean. Okay. I mean, I kind of wanted this blood token so we can maybe cycle something. Blood Chief Thirst on Valentine. They're running low on cards. That's good for us. Another land is also good. Let's go ahead and attack first and see what happens here. Consider. Perfect. We're 2 turns away from getting blood on the Snowed. So that's a little bit of a problem. So we're going to still throw the Blood Tithe Harvester into the Gatekeeper. We'll grab... I think we'll do instant. Sorcery might have been better, because that way when they blood on the snow, if they just take a turn off here. But we'll see. Either way, we're hitting them for, what, 3, 4, 5, 6, hopefully. And we've got these blood tokens to help cycle through the deck. Oh, let's see. They don't have any more black lands, so that's one thing going in our favor. They have to hit a black land. They might not have another land at all here. I feel like this should give us a life as well. I mean, it's a blood token. We're vampires. Gives us a little bit of energy. Uh-oh, we're getting the rope from Henry. The congratulatory rope. Congratulatory. Too much to handle. Too much to handle. Okay, let's go ahead and get in. So 3, 4, 5, 6. So we win next turn. I mean, I think they're going to quit anyways. This really kind of solidifies it. Let's go ahead and grab a... let's grab Sorcery. That way, when they do it... I don't know how that works. If this one only triggers for instance, or since there's 2 out. I really don't know how it works. I'm interested. Good game, Henry. Good game. We got Doug Trojan. What's up, Doug? Okay, there first we have 3 lands, Swamp Mountain, and a Haunted Ridge. We have Blood Tithe Harvester, Vampire Socialite, Florian, and a Play with Fire. So it's definitely worth keeping. Hopefully off the draw we hit a turn 1 Vampire. That would be amazing. Okay, we'll go ahead and keep, like I said. Looks like we're going to be playing against Mono White, most likely. Target creature gets +1/+0 until end of turn. You gain 1 life. Activate only as a sorcery. So they're going to be a life gain deck. Let's go ahead and put out that red and pass the turn, holding up to Play with Fire. Double Vampire Socialites could win us the game. So whenever you gain life, we'll definitely let that come down. They'll tap that. Whether they tap it or not, I'm doing it. There we go. Scry. Oh, no. It's only if it goes to their fate. I'm thinking, yeah. Anyways, so we'll throw this swamp out. I want to play with fire, but we can play with fire and Vampire Socialite, both next turn, or throw yeah, this instead, or the Scion. So we want to get this Vampire Socialite out on the board right now. It's going to make all of our vampires bigger and bigger. So our opponent's going to try to set up another big creature. Hopefully they can't pump it too much so that our play with fire works. And then if we can get to this Florian, that's juice right there, because that just keeps our game going. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 1 life. Blizzard Brawl, huh? Wow. What an awkward card for the deck. So, we're going to hold up that. We're going to go Vampire Socialite again, end the turn, holding this up, so if they do this again... No. No. Not having that. Another Snowland. They might try to pop the Faceless Haven. That's fine. We'll let it happen. Cool. Yep, we'll take it. We're going to have this first striker out here in a second. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield, you gain a life, and your target creature gets +1/+0 until end of turn. So that resolves. Nice, good for them. We'll just go ahead and kill this now. No blocks. Ooh, another play with fire. I don't want to use it this turn. That's okay. We're going to go ahead and go in with that. And let's get ourselves a 4/4 first striker. Come at me with your Faceless Havens. Let's do it, Doug. What do you do? Whenever you gain life, put a +1 counter on Voice of the Blessed. As long as Voice of the Blessed has 4 or more +1 counters, it has Flying and Vigilance. As long as Voice has 10 or more counters on it, it is indestructible. Okay, so throw the land we just got. I'm going to go in with Florian. Boom. We get to look at 4. Come on, removal. Academia's Awakening would only be for a 1-drop. Oops, wait. So, I don't have anything I could get, so that's not great. I think maybe I throw you. Yeah, let's go with the flyer. Throw it out. It gets bigger. You get bigger. We'll go wide. I'll hold this up for next turn. Get a blood token. Pass. So this isn't flying yet. So we have flying and menace. Or sorry, flying and first strike. And this is going to be a big deal. Okay. They've got themselves a Luminous Phantom. Oh. Okay. So they can sacrifice this to make this indestructible. Lifelink and indestructible. Okay, so first thing we do, I think I hold this back. We're going in with these two. Our flyer and our first striker. Yeah, they're going to block. Florian doesn't have to hit, so that's fine. But they do get that, you know. So, next. Hit him for 3. Come on, big removal. Hard removal. Come on. That is hilarious. Let's go ahead and throw this out on... we have 3 blacks, so we can make this red. I'm going to go ahead and get this out, because this is going to be able to kill this next turn, I think. So we'll throw that, get a token, throw another one, get a token, holding up the... Okay, there we go. Now I feel like I'm in a good place. Let's just do this now. Kill that. So we get the blood token, then we do all the damages. Indestructible all you want, my friend. Make it as indestructible. I don't think you read the card. Sorry. End turn. Good game. Good game, opponent. Hello, opponent. Requinox? We go first with 3 lands, a pathway, a mountain, and a haunted ridge. We have a cemetery gatekeeper, Falcon Rith, pit fighter, Florian, and a Voldurin Bloodcat. So this is a great hand. Depending on what our opponent's playing, we're pretty fast. Turn 1 is the pit fighter. Turn 2 is probably the Bloodcaster, because our opponent might not have anything in their graveyard, nor us, and we kind of want to get a few more things down in case we pick a creature. So this goes out on black. Doesn't matter the order we do this in since they're tapped out. Looks like they're playing some wolves. We can fly over their head, so that's nice. Okay, and we got a removal card. We don't need to throw... We're throwing this turn, but we don't need to do it pre-combat. Just to see if they have anything they can do. No, they don't. Because we didn't have any mana to spend on it anyways, and I didn't want to shuffle through my whole deck because they go to the bottom. Ranger class, that is not going to bug us. We have a flyer, a first striker. Oh. Okay, never mind. Never mind. So, let's go ahead. Swing with both. I'd love that trade. So they take all the damage. I want to throw the Florian, but I think the play is actually the Gatekeeper. Oh, I should have thrown Dean first. So, no. My graveyard, I want a creature. And then that was a little bit of a misplay. I meant to throw that first. Oops. One of my biggest problems when I play is I play fast. Okay, they're going to go ahead and level up the Ranger class. There's the Blizzard Brawl on the Cemetery Gatekeeper. I should have known they had another one. So, we got Menace and Flying. No blocks. We can just Infernal Grasp that. Here's a land. I think we just swing with everything. And end the turn holding up the Infernal Grasp. That resolves. Let's go ahead and just kill it now, because otherwise I'll get double tokens. I will pay that. I will get me a 1/1 from the Valentine. We take our turn. Oh, nice. Let's get this Florian out on the board. We're going wide, so we're swinging with the team. We're guaranteed to hit with this. Down to 1. Can we win the game right here? Show us off the top. Do we hit a play with fire? Boom. That looks good to me. Good game. Ooh. Ooh. Okay, Brew Crew. That is going to do it for Rakdos Vampires. And I highly suggest you give this deck a try. If you're even close to the amount of cards you need, craft the rest. I think this is a solid deck. I don't normally say that unless it's already a tier deck that someone has proved and it's been tested a whole bunch. Like I said, all I really did was took what I thought were all the best vampires there were. I put in some removal. I backed off a few creatures like the Valentine down to 2 and the Scion down to 3. I started playing it and the deck just ran amazingly in my opinion. Let's go ahead and go over what I think you should or shouldn't craft in my opinion. Uncommons and commons are obviously safe. Shatter Skull Smashing is technically a land, so I think it's completely safe to craft, as I normally say. Valentine, it doesn't go in a lot of decks. So if you have a bunch of wild cards, craft it, but I'm going to tell you right now, you won't be playing it in a whole lot of other decks, in my opinion. So just be careful when you're crafting that. It does only require 2. I think you're going to like the deck, though. Falcon Wrath Pit Fighter is a card I play in a few decks. It's one of the best 1-drops in red right now. It's a horrible card, kind of, in my opinion, but red just doesn't have a whole lot of aggro creatures. So kind of with Valentine, once again, be careful when crafting that one. You might not be putting in a whole lot of decks, but once again, for this deck, I think it's amazing. I think this might be the theme with a lot of these cards. In fact, Faldaran Bloodcaster probably just not going to be in a whole lot of decks that aren't themed like that. Cemetery Gatekeeper is definitely going to be one of those cards you're going to see in mono red in the future if they give mono red any amount of like stronger cards to be a deck. So I think that's going to be okay to craft, but it is expensive. So definitely be solid on this deck before you go crafting those, because 4 mythic wild cards, like I said, is expensive. It drained me. Let's keep moving along. I think Florian is a easy craft. It just is so strong in my opinion, because it doesn't have to be vampires doing it. So any Rakdos deck or deck that you're splashing a color to get this in it, where you're playing a lot of creatures, you're going to get a lot of value out of it. And as I always say, lands are always safe to craft. So thank you very much for watching. Like I asked in the beginning, would you please not only comment but rate the video? Instead of 1 point for each, if you do both, we get 4 points. So double the points sounds a lot better. Please hit that subscribe button. It's fast, it's free, and it means the world to me. Hit that notification bell so that you know whenever we have new content come out. And as always, until next time, have a blast in the arena.